Sergeant Medlin with the Garner Police Department, and today's topic is going to be traffic safety. We have a couple of guests from our traffic safety team, and both of them actually happen to ride the motorcycle as well. We have Officer Josh Hammond, and we have Officer Patrick McGuire. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about include speed issues on Timber Drive, US 70, Buffalo Road. We're going to talk a little bit about crosswalk safety, why it's important to not speed through those areas of people crossing the road in crosswalks, and what the law is on that when it comes to someone being in a crosswalk. We're also going to talk about LiDAR campaigns that you've probably seen us running on 70. Amongst other things we're going to talk about, probably July 3rd, maybe some tips and pointers from our traffic safety team on July 3rd, abandoned vehicles. So we're going to hit several topics when it comes to this. So yeah, let's just start with some speeding complaints. So I know we've had some complaints about speeding on Buffalo Road lately, and maybe some of the people in the town have seen the, what's it called? What's that thing called?
Radar trailer.
The radar trailer, yes. So can you guys talk about what kind of speed complaints we've had and what we're doing to address that? And what the speed limit is on Buffalo Road?
Yeah, so the speed limit on Buffalo Road is 35 miles an hour. It is a residential area, so there's sidewalks, kids playing, all sorts of stuff. In order to address that, we do set up targeted speed enforcement and campaign operations. Like he said, we both ride the motorcycle, so if you see a motorcycle out there, we're most likely running LiDAR or some sort of speed enforcement.
And so that radar trailer, what exactly, I mean, obviously you ride past it and it tells you what your speed is, right? So it's being clocked using a radar as if one that would be in the car, correct?
Yeah, it's
similar.
It's very similar.
And what is it doing? Is it collecting data?
Yes, it does. So it collects, and in addition to telling you what your speed is, anytime you see those lights flashing, it's collecting data that the supervisors can go back and look at, and they can basically interpret that data and see if the speed complaints or if the speed issues are going down or going up as we continue our enforcement actions out there.
Gives us time frames.
Okay, very cool. And we'll stay in that general area. So right there, we have two parks. We have White Deer Park and we have Lake Benson Park. And we have several crosswalks, I know on Aversboro Road, especially there's one right there in front that goes between the two parks that's very heavily occupied. What exactly is hold on, we got some technical difficulties here. We're gonna make sure we're good. I bet he turned it off. All right, we're back in business, guys. What exactly is the law when it comes to crosswalks and people in crosswalks or attempting to use a crosswalk to cross a road? What's the law when it comes to vehicles on the roadway and that?
So I actually brought a brochure here that we actually hand out to the public. So I'll just read it verbatim. Read some of the bullet points here. So when you're driving, you have to yield to people in crosswalks. That's General Statute 20-173. Always look first for pedestrians and bicyclists before turning, backing up, and when driving at night. Pass bicyclists only when it's safe to do so, and be sure to give them plenty of room. That's actually a general statute as well, General Statute 20-149. Be prepared for bicyclists to take the whole lane. And then if you're walking, look for cars in all directions, including those turning left. Obey all pedestrian traffic signals. At night, you can walk in well-lit areas, carry a flashlight, or wear something reflective to be more visible. Cross the street where you have the best view of traffic. At bus stops, cross behind the bus or at the nearest crosswalk. Always walk on the sidewalk. If there is no sidewalk, walk facing traffic and as far from the roadway as you can. Then there's some more stuff on bicyclists, but I guess to stay on the topic of crosswalks. So crosswalks may be marked either two parallel white lines or a series of white blocks running across the road. And then a mid-block crosswalk, these are marked crosswalks located in the middle of a block, not in an intersection, which would be kind of similar to what you described at White Deer or even on Timber Drive crossing the Greenway Trail there. And then unmarked crosswalks. So unmarked crosswalks occur whenever a sidewalk ends at an intersection and continues on the other side. There's an implied crosswalk there, even if there's no white lines or if there's no pedestrian crossing signs. So that's, if you want more information about crosswalks, or if you're just uncertain what the laws surrounding crosswalks are for pedestrians and for motorists, you can go to watchformenc.org. Again, this is just a pamphlet that we hand these out whenever we do our informative type traffic stops, and it is very intuitive.
Okay. So we talked about crosswalks and some speeding on Buffalo Road. Let's talk a little bit about the speeding issue on Timber Drive. And I think mainly I'm talking about the area between Avisboro and I guess Vandor Springs.
It's
Thompson.
now Thompson Road
Thompson
or
Road.
Heather Springs.
So we've extended the 35-mile-an-hour zone that used to stop just after, I think it's Buckingham, and we've now extended it up to Thompson Road. So I think right now this is just a public service announcement to people. I know we've been running a lot of traffic enforcement out there to kind of educate the public on the speed change, because I think we have been receiving speed complaints in that area. So what's your guys' message on that? So, you know, just make sure they know where it begins, where it ends, and that we're out there, you know, enforcing the traffic on that. So it starts at Avisboro, correct?
Correct. And that's been an ongoing issue since I've been with the agency. It starts at Avisboro. It used to end right there at Buckingham. They've now pushed it back to Thompson Road, which is on one side, Heather Springs on the other side. I know when we pull people over, oftentimes people, you know, it's 35 miles an hour because it's a speed trap. No, it's 35 miles an hour because it's the only residential section on Timber Drive. You got people backing out, you've got people mowing their yard, you have people walking down the road, crossing the street. We've had bicycles get hit, we've had pedestrians get hit, and it's just an ongoing issue. I'll sit there and try and enforce something, and I'll see a garbage truck come, and they're stopped in the right lane, and a car does 60 miles an hour, swerves around the garbage truck, almost hits another car. So it is a big area for us to enforce simply because of the history of the collisions and everything else and the complaints that have come from the people that live on that road. So, you know, again, Avisboro to Thompson Road, 35, the rest of Timber, 45.
And just so folks know, Thompson Road is that road right beside Timber Drive Elementary.
Correct.
Okay. So while we're talking about safety and speed, so I think it's a pretty well-known fact that speed does kill, in fact. And it does contribute to crashes, and also it contributes to the severity of crashes when they happen. So maybe we'll stick with you. I know you're crash recon, correct?
We both are.
Both are? Oh, trying to hide out on me there, Patrick. So
You're going to make me do math.
what? No, there's no math, but can we just tell the folks in layman's terms without having to do any formulas or anything else? When we increase speed, what else also increases?
Reaction distance.
Okay, and that means stopping distance?
Correct.
Okay.
So, well, your stopping distance as well as the reaction distance.
Okay.
So it's going to be both. Again, if you look at it in the aspect of the average person to see what they're going to respond to and then actually make that response with the brake pedal, if it's 1.6 seconds, that 10-mile-an-hour difference can be, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet from 10 miles per hour slower. On top of that, you're now trying to stop a 2,000-pound vehicle, which is carrying a lot more momentum at a higher speed. So it's going to not only take you longer to react to whatever's in front of you, but it's going to take you longer to stop.
And you brought up something earlier where you said when y'all have been doing traffic enforcements, people kind of, you know, I understand nobody wants to get pulled over, nobody wants to get a citation. Totally get that. But it is important that we do enforce these traffic laws because of those reasons, because of the high number of houses in the area, residential, kids outside playing, as you said, bicyclists riding down the road. So we ask from the Garner Police Department that you do slow down in that area. This is me speaking to the general public. Slow down, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the speed limit. Because the last thing we want to do is investigate, you know, a really bad collision, you know, in that area because someone was just going simply too fast and they couldn't slow down in time for maybe a kid that was chasing a ball on the road. You never know what could happen. So let's move along here a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about July 3rd, because that's a big topic coming up. It's next Saturday, I believe. The July 3rd, yeah.
2 Saturdays?
2 Saturdays?
2 Saturdays.
Okay, whenever July 3rd is. I know it's on Saturday. But it's coming up real quick. And in that area, we're going to see a lot of traffic. We're going to see a lot of pedestrian traffic. We're going to see a lot of vehicular traffic. So what are some tips that maybe the traffic safety team would like to pass along to our viewers when it comes to traffic safety, maybe where to park, if you know of any places like shuttles? I know we're providing all kinds of stuff this year. So what do you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, so if you're a pedestrian, then they're gonna have some roped off sections. Also, there are sidewalks leading to and from the parks. But again, they're gonna have those areas marked and roped off. If you could just, like you said, it's gonna be busy, but just try to stay in those, on those marked areas. For the vehicle traffic, there will be some big DOT signs, telling you where you can and can't turn. If you're coming from Highway 50, you won't be able to come down Buffalo Road unless you're a resident.
So Buffalo Road's blocked off unless you have a pass
Exactly,
that says
yeah.
you're a resident of that street.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And all the residents on Buffalo Road, for the most part, are aware of that. So if you don't live on Buffalo Road, you won't be able to access the parks from Buffalo Road. That will be completely shut. As far as the shuttles go, they are running shuttles. I believe it's going to be from South Garner High School.
South Garner High School. Mm-hmm.
Yep, so South Garner High School will be running shuttles. It's probably your best bet, getting in and out quickly. Parking in the parks is limited. There is a certain amount of handicap spots allocated right there in the park. So if you are handicapped and you need a close spot, accommodate you at the park.
All right. And I'll throw out there real quick while we have an audience. The YMCA parking lot is off limits. We're not allowed, well, it's not us. The YMCA is saying they don't want anybody parking in their parking lot. I believe they're closing down at 2 p.m. That day, and they're planning on coning it off and putting up some tape and maybe some big whiteboards that say no parking. So I just kind of want to throw it out there. The YMCA does not want people using their parking lot for parking, so you're going to have to find somewhere else to park and walk if you don't make it to the parking time to be able to park in the park. I believe fireworks are, I know this is totally off topic for traffic safety, but since we're on the topic, I know fireworks are scheduled to go off, I believe 9:30. I'm pretty sure that was the time. It's either 9 or 9:30, but it's somewhere in that time frame. And everything is going to be business as usual. The only thing that we're not going to be providing that I'm aware of is the kid play zone. I don't think we're having that this year. But everything else is going to be business as usual. It should be a fun time. We hope it's a safe time. We know there's going to be a lot of people out there, especially with this past year that we've been through with COVID and everything being shut down. I'm sure people are going to want to get out of the house and have a little bit of normalcy. And I don't say I blame them at all. So just be able to just be ready to have fun, be safe, always stay hydrated because it's always hot there every year. And as always, you know, the Garner Police will be in full force. We'll be wearing our high-vis shirts, so we'll be easily seen. So if there's any problems or any issues, you know, always feel free to approach us and let us know about it, or report anything that you see that's not right. If you see something that's just not right, make sure you tell the Garner Police about it so we can investigate and, you know, just keep everybody safe in general. So let's talk a little bit about Bike Safe. I'd let you hop on Bike Safe and kind of talk about what Bike Safe is and how people can benefit from it.
All right. So Bike Safe is a motorcycle safety course. It's a one-day motorcycle safety course instructed by motor officers. So not just the Garner Police Department, but motor officers all across the state are involved in this program, and we kind of help each other out. It involves basically rider skills, which is classroom training and on the road practical skills, I guess you could say. So the focus is a little bit different than what you'd see in a normal like motorcycle foundation or MSF course. The focus is a little bit different. We're looking not to teach people how to ride a motorcycle, but how to ride a motorcycle safely with traffic and with the other hazards that are out there. It's more in depth into like hazard management and being the safest rider you can be. So
So how do you sign up for this? I'm sorry.
if you go to bikesafenc.com,
Okay.
we currently don't have any classes scheduled right now at the Garner Police Department, but we are looking to put some on the calendar. We're just now getting back into the swing of things with all the COVID restrictions. We did host one class that was hosted here in the town hall just because we weren't trying to have it. Department, just trying to keep everyone safe. But we are looking now to get back into it a little bit. So if you just keep an eye on the calendar on bikesafenc.com, we are looking to add some courses to the calendar. Again, we're not the only agency that does this that we're involved with. Apex Police Department, Holly Springs, Raleigh Police Department, Highway Patrol, basically all our surrounding agencies are all involved in it. So even if you don't take a class in Garner, there are classes that are available and that are close by that you can sign up for.
All right. Good stuff. We did have one question. It says, can I walk in the road when leaving the park? Talking about July 4th or July 3rd.
Well, if I remember correctly, they generally have the sidewalks roped off, which I think you mentioned, trying to keep people on the sidewalk. With the amount of traffic out there, I don't think it would be safe to walk on the road, especially leaving when it's going to be dark. I mean, if there's a reason we rope off the sidewalks, it's for the safety of the pedestrians, and I think it would be best for people to adhere to those recommendations that those ropes kind of imply.
Okay, so I'm going to write on here as a reply to that question. We're going to say we recommend that we stay on the sidewalks at all times.
And something else we didn't really touch on, or I didn't touch on whenever talking about the park. So at the conclusion of the fireworks, all traffic is going to be northbound on Avisboro Road. So if you're going southbound on Avisboro, on Avisboro Road, that'll be completely closed off at Timber Drive, because we're going to have 2 lanes of traffic coming northbound. We do that every year. It's the most effective way to get traffic out of the park quickly. So just something else to kind of be aware of.
Very good, very good. All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? We touched on a lot of stuff today. Just in general, speed complaints. We want to obviously reiterate speed does influence crashes and severity of crashes. So please, obey the speed limit. Pay attention to crosswalks. July 3rd is coming up. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff today. Bike safe. And so we obviously can't talk about every single thing in one episode, which is why at some point we will revisit traffic safety and have maybe you two, maybe a couple of new guys come back. We don't know yet. But yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to, a message to the people, go ahead and tell them now, and we're probably going to get ready to end this live.
Yeah, I would just say keep in mind that speed isn't the only thing that we're looking for. We are looking for seatbelt infractions, inattention, people playing on their phones. That's going to be a real factor in what we're looking into with our crash collisions. So inattention. Again, we're not just looking for speed. We're looking for all sorts of violations.
Sure.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
And a big thing, going back to kind of traffic safety and July 4th, big, weekend where people are drinking. That's going to be another big focus over that weekend. If you're drinking, get a ride, get an Uber, call a friend, any of the above, just don't drive. And then to go back to the bike safe, if there's interest, we haven't really hosted many on the weekdays. There's very few agencies that actually do around us. I think the closest might be Winston-Salem hosts one, maybe one Wednesday every couple months. We're going to, I think, try and put that out there for a Wednesday class one week and see if we get enough interest to not only have them on the weekends, but offer them for the days that, people might have availability other than a Saturday. not everybody can give up a Saturday if they've got the kids or, work a weird schedule like we do, so.
A good point on drinking too. I'm glad you brought that up because we won't have another one until after July 3rd ends. So drinking and driving, we're cracking down on it. I mean, we're always cracking down on it. We're always looking for intoxicated drivers. So we understand this is the time of the year where people, love to celebrate, America's independence, and rightfully so, because America. But just please don't drink and drive. Like Officer Hammond said, get an Uber. And, oh yeah, I just saw it too. And just be safe. But one more question. Do you guys do child seat installs?
So we do, but we are not doing them still due to COVID right now. So your best option right now is just the labor and delivery nurses. A lot of them go through the exact same training that we do. And just whenever you have your kid, just make sure that they're aware that you might need some help with car seat installation and setup. We're still not doing them here just due to COVID restrictions.
I think the fire department might have some people as well. I don't know if they're still on
Yeah.
restrictions. I'm not even sure how many people we have left that are certified.
They're certified.
Because, I was supposed to go at the beginning of COVID, and COVID has prevented me from going to the class to be able to do it. So as far as on traffic, are you? I think Will might
I am
be.
certified.
So we've got a couple.
I'm certified, but again, we're not doing them right now.
So I think the best thing to do is just tell people, the message is, yes, we still do them, but right now we're not doing them because of COVID. And I would suggest, if a week or two or however long it goes by, just call the PD, ask, hey, you guys doing child safety seats now installs? And they should be able to tell you. So just keep calling and asking, and maybe at some point we can get back to doing them again when this stuff's.
Another thing just to touch on with that, because I know we get a lot of calls on child seat installs. With them, for expecting mothers, there's really not a good way for us to set up the seat, because a lot of what we're doing is setting up the seat for the actual child. So for expecting mothers, we can't necessarily set up the seat for your kid without actually having the kid in the seat. So for expecting mothers, again, your best resource is probably just going to be at the hospital. Again, they go through the same exact training that we do, and they're able to accommodate you better having the child there than we are just setting it up for a generic sized baby.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I had forgot about that. When I had my first daughter, I didn't even know they did it there.
They don't let you leave the hospital until they look at your car seat.
I had no clue. But there was a guy there that was certified, and the people were kind of just in line waiting to come through, and he was installing, and if there was one already installed, he was looking at it and make sure everything was good to go. So it's a good piece of advice. Good piece of advice. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we're going to end this live session. It was a very good, informative session today. As always, you can get up with us on Facebook. You can get up with us on Twitter, Instagram, Nextdoor. We're on just about every social media outlet. So if there's ever a question, feel free to message us. We will get back with you as soon as we can with the answer. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this episode of Chat with a Cop, and we will see you next month. Be watching on Instagram and Facebook and all that for the next date that's going to be out. All right. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.